start where we left off, talking about principalities and powers and how I need not to render it down about what it is and become heal the head wound and the foundation of love, and it's directly connected to Astra, or to
Asherah.
Asherah, thank you. And Shua, right? It's the foundation of love. And then we were talking about glory, Tippereth, and Ephraim, between Ephraim and Benjamin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just this process, and with Ephraim, so now you got to break down Ephraim. We know that Benjamin is the right hand, the son of the right hand. And so we're going to break down Ephraim a little bit. We're going to do a little journey here about just a familiar frequency that's in this, that we can tie it to Tippereth, which is these ones are coming down. The verse we just did in Jeremiah, that these ones coming down have the crowns of glory. And so let's just kind of break this down from a perspective. And this is why Jacob told Joseph that he knew what he was doing when he crossed hands between Ephraim and Manasseh. And he said, son, this is the firstborn. Or father, this is the firstborn. You don't know what you're doing, because Jacob was I think his sight was gone. And he said, oh, son, I know exactly what I'm doing. And he crossed his hands. And that's like, well, why did he do that? Right? And because Jacob was vibrating to the frequency, he was just about to pass over, and he was already become, Israel, right? He was already an El, so he would have known. So let's see what happened there. So we have Ephraim, as Aleph, Pe, Resh, Yod, Mem, Ephraim. And these are all, this is all, again, frequencies. So we just need to look at what's being said. So he is one who is speaking as a head. So the son of Joseph, he is in his name, he is speaking with the mouth of an aligned head. He's speaking as a head of fire, and he's speaking through the power, the means and direction of authority. And so he has the vision in his name. Now, I'm not talking about the individual. I'm talking about extracting out the macro and micro from the frequency of what is encoded in this shorthand. From a different perspective, I can see it, that there's potential in here that needs to expand out, so we can see what he did and what he's attached to. I see
right,
it.
I think we understand.
Okay.
We're not talking about the history lesson.
Right.
We're talking about the
frequency.
vibrational frequency of the letters.
So this family one who's sealed in love, speaks with the mouth and the head of fire, right? He speaks the vision and the authority, the power, the means and the direction of being completely sealed in the waters above. That's
right,
Ephraim.
and Yod Mem is seas.
Right,
like,
so he is...
Which automatically is tied to the Queen of Heaven.
So
automatically.
He would not... So when I say that he is the sealed waters above, the only way that Ephraim could have done it is by walking the waters below. The bitter waters before the sweet waters, right?
Mother before father.
And this is directly connected to love. And so now let's just go see what transacted here. So let's go see the power. Let's go to the root of this. You can go on it. You can go to 666, actually, is where it roots out at.
Well, it took me to 672 first.
Okay, well, we can
go
there.
And then I can root it down from there.
Right.
Because that one just says, from Parash, it means fruitfulness.
Parash, right. So we can go back that way.
And Ephrath, another name for Bethlehem, which is house of bread.
Right. So now we have the house of bread. Okay. And then we have...
And then it says from Parah.
From Pharoah, okay. And so if we want to go that way, then let's go to Pharoah. Pereshe.
Yep, to bear fruit and be fruitful.
All right. So now we have to be fruitful, and so what is fruit? And so now we're just talking, right? And fruit is really the mouth. Out of the mouth, out of the heart, the man speaketh. Out of the...
Yeah.
Right? So now we have the Pereshe. So he's speaking the revelation of an established head. This is one who bears fruit. But let's go back to Aphor. Let's go into...
but that's already interesting, because if it's Parah, the morphology in that is now we have an Aleph added in front of it.
Right.
right? So it's from to be fruitful, but now we have Aleph.
Right. Right. You have one that's established and now sovereignly standing between the two visions. This would be an established. This would be, it's not. I don't have it because we're not going that way. But you can actually look at, you are now the house of bread, right?
Because it's connected to Bethlehem.
And the olive being there said that this one would be speaking, sovereignly speaking, as an olive, as one who has become the family, right? It's because olive is the power and the strength and the authority, speaking the words of the leader as the Tav, or Tav is on.
Yep.
So now you're speaking in love.
So you had the revelation, right? Para.
Yeah.
You had the revelation, and now you've become one with that. You've become, because olive means to be yoked and tamed.
Right.
Right? And you've been taught, so you teach, and it's one who has the thousandfold Christ anointing that has been made one.
Right.
With the one love, and they're now marked with that signature frequency change.
Right.
So anyway.
So let's back up a little bit, and let's go to 666. Ephraim was 669. Now we're going to go to 666.
Mm-hmm.
So this is in the middle. This is the spelling for the prefix to Ephraim, right? It's a far, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see, even again, nothing is coincidence. Everything is orchestrated. So now we have a covering or a bandage, which is the temporary healing, right? 666.
Right, a covering and a bandage, and it also
a
turban, yeah.
Right.
Which is what the high priest would wear.
And it also says ashes, right?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so now we have this 666 component and it's olive Peresh, which is connected to Ephraim, and it's from Ephraim, so we can go down to, and it goes to 665.
Yep.
To bestow ashes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm bringing this up because I'm bringing in sackcloth and ashes, because this is all part of this. What we're building.
Interesting too that part of this is talking about a mantle.
Well,
that the turban is a representation of mantle. At least that's what Brown Drivers Briggs is talking about here.
Well, it has to be, because the language it's the mantle language of becoming. This olive is speaking pay, the mouth as the head. From his temporal place as 666, he is consumed, because it's like he is becoming consumed in and as ashes. And this is all tethered. That, now again, from the higher perspective, from the frequency of what Spirit's showing, is in this language, this one is to become completely consumed in the language. It's the mantle of. He wouldn't have the mantle, he wouldn't be speaking it unless he's already gone the journey of mother, which has consumed everything. He's an ash heap.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to change this temporary covering, this bandage, is this is directly connected to the headwound. The bandage is on the head.
Right.
He's turning the nature from one state of affairs to he's a governor of a state. So let's go to Pharoah, go to 6509. It's still to bear fruit.
Yep.
And so it's connected, but now it's connected with the hay, because everything is connected. So now this mouth is speaking as the head of revelation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I see right there.
And you can look at the first occurrence of that is in Genesis. Everything for our journey is connected to the 220 or to the 22.
Right.
So this is a 122, first occurrence, and saying to them, "Be fruitful and multiply." What are they speaking? They're speaking the word of love. The revelation is the revelation. This is how you multiply in the earth. Is my family is multiplied in the frequency of love.
Yeah, it's interesting. The very first word showing on this short little thing is Elohim, Leamar.
Right.
So the Elohim, those who have actually gone through the whole process that came down, are speaking as mothers to the poor and destitute to raise them up, and saying, "Be fruitful and multiply." So there's the fruitful, multiply, and then it's mala. We were talking about
being
mala,
filled up.
to be filled.
Right.
And on that word, look at that. Both of the vowels on the front and the back have the same exact vowel point. The
right.
shruk.
So this is
mother and
pointing
father.
both ways to say this is what you're to become, and if you haven't become, it's pointing to become it, right?
Yeah.
So it's pointing back and forth to say
Connect to mother, connect to father, be filled with their teachings.
What are you connecting? Humility is directly connected to meekness, right?
Yep.
And in between, you have fullness as one love.
Exactly, because it's mal, to be filled up with the olive, the one love. Yep.
This is the journey, and how do you do it? It starts with one. This is one love through the 22. You've compressed it now, but this would be a teacher then is just speaking from Genesis 1:22, saying this is how you become this, right? The 1 to the 22. So I wanted to bring that in there just because I never want to miss an opportunity to when we connect the 22s with the journey of fruitfulness.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So now we have this olive peresh, and I want to take this morphology of the peresh to make a point about what's going on here, because it's all the same frequency. It's just broken into fragments, and we're going to separate the fragments out to see what's really been said in just even in Ephraim. So really quickly, go to 6255. We've already talked about this, but I want people to see why I'm bringing this up again, because we've already brought up that these are the authorities, the double horns of love, that Moshe would have shone with. He would have had the authorities. He would have already built the house, and we've already talked about this connects to love,
right?
Asherah,
yeah,
right, and it's the double horns, right? The Qumran, right, the dual love, and in its first occurrence is talking about
the Rephaim.
Rephaim, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're going to move a little bit. Let's go to 8597. Now we just brought up ashes, right? From 665 and 666, Aphor.
Yeah, so right here in the middle of it is the same gematria.
Same gematria, but looks on the, now what's the verse?
I'll give you beauty for ashes.
I'll give you beauty for ashes, right?
Wow.
Here it is. So what happens? What's going on here? And it's Tiphereth. We've already said you'll be adorned in Tiphereth, right?
Right.
So in the middle of this word, now you can go to, I don't know if you see it there, but this is in this file that I'm in. It's got Tav, Pei, Aleph, Resh, Tav. That's Tiphereth.
Right, that is Tiphereth. And so it would be having the revelation of the teaching and through the Spirit, and then being marked because you've become that revelation.
And it's from Pa'ar.
I can root that down because I see that right here. And Pa'ar is to beautify and to glorify. Which is also connected to fruitfulness, which is also connected to the double measure of Ephraim, which is also connected to ashes in 666. Yep. And you're turning ashes. Now this is why I can turn the 666 into something other than what it is. Right. Because it's saying that, because it's coded, it's all shorthand. I will exchange beauty for ashes. Right. I will take this measure because it's the exact same frequencies in this word is Pei, Aleph, Resh, and it's encompassed in the mother's love and the father's love. This is glory. Yeah. This is beautiful. This is now that you've now built love in this frequency. And you went to 6286. You went to beauty and glory, right? So we have Pei, Aleph, Resh. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So now the mouth is leading. The mouth is leading. Right. Because it's the mouth that speaks the revelation of the one family. Now I want you to go to this word. To raise them up to be the first fruits. Right. So go to 7495 really quick. Same member. You don't have the expanse I have on my page because I have it all documented. But so now we have Rapha. Okay, so this is same gematria. Same gematria. Now it's Resh. Now the head is leading. Now the head is leading. So now the first fruits that speak about the one love. So now this is a healed one. Yes. What did you heal? The head wound, right? Because now the head is leading. Yep. So now we've brought beauty for ashes. Yep. And it's all about putting the crown on the head. To beautify and glorify. And we're going to go into what the head wound is here really quick. Mm-hmm. So now we can say that actually you've turned this now to a 999. You've turned the foot from the head, from the very beginning, what we talked about in our last session, head and feet. You're walking at 666 in the earth. That's man. Outside body, inside mind, will, and emotion. Out, and then
for the progression of the spirit above, right?
Yeah, and 6 times 3 is 18. Troidal math is 9.
Right.
And when you turn it to 9, 9 times 3 is 27, is also a 9.
So the walk of 666
So
is
man, that then becomes completed.
completed.
Because 9 means judgment and completion.
Right. This is, we're going into some deep stuff here, because, and this isn't for the faint of heart, but you've self-adjudicated and you've delivered self through the template of Yeshua.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from him.
No.
I'm giving him full respect and honor of doing why and who he is.
Right. We're becoming in the likeness of the one who came before.
We resonate to the frequency.
Exactly.
So we turn the 666 ashes, the temporary covering, we take off the bandage.
Yep.
666, we take off the bandage of the flesh. The outside vav is the 6, the inside that pierces my heart is the 6, and the vav of spirit is the 6, body, soul, spirit 6.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
So now we're exchanging that, and then we're going to change it into completion of self-adjudication, 9, becoming the 9. We're going to flip those natures to a 9. So this Rapha...
So really, I should be connecting that the ultimate question is the ultimate answer.
Yes.
Because that whole thing shows about becoming the pyramids of light and flipping the 6 to the 9.
Bet Anat. You are now the temple of answers.
Exactly. And the 9 is the cough.
Right.
Which is grasping a hold. You've tamed, and you've grasped a hold of the power that comes from the revelation, that comes from the mouth that speaks the revelation.
Right.
Because it's cough pay, and pay is pay hey.
Right. So I just wanted to connect that, and we can linger here for a long time. Just like, first of all, like, wow. Now we have healing.
Yep.
Temporary covering, 666.
Yep.
We have beauty for ashes.
Yep.
All the same word. We have Ephraim connected as the double fruitful.
Yep.
And we have, what else do we have in there? There's more in this, because this actually connects to Pharoah. Pharaoh?
Right.
Because Pharaoh is spelled
Peresh, Ayin, Hey.
Now, why is that Ayin? Because we're not going to go there really right now.
So because you have the inward knowing.
You are now the all-seeing eye, right? Because that's really what it says. Your temple is now built, and your eye is seeing correctly, and you have the intimate knowing of, and you can rule and reign as king.
Because you see.
Because you see. So that's.
But it's an inward. Yeah, because it's the inward vision. Because it's between the Peresh Hey. It's on the inside of you, in the center of your being. And the third eye is inward vision, literally.
So it goes pretty steep, pretty quick as we're climbing this mountain. And you can look at even at 6286 and beautify and glory, which is from Tiphareth, really, because it's still beauty, right? It's still from, that's what Tiphareth is from. And then when you go to this 6286, it goes down to 6288. Still pay olive fresh. Now it has hay. You're now part of the tree. Okay, because we're going to talk about the tree pretty quick here. So
that olive has a kolam meli on top of it too.
Right. So I don't
want
to
completely filled up with love.
You're completely filled up now, and now again, does the branch dictate to the tree how to become the tree, or does the tree share with the branch to say, welcome to the family, I now graft you in?
Right, and then it gets all of its sustenance from the root.
Because it's now part of the completed tree. Mm-hmm. Root, trunk,
branch,
stump, branch, foliage, whatever. And that's what this is saying. This is saying this is now ornamentation, foliage, right? Including the limbs as bright green. Okay?
And green is the color that represents life.
Right. And there's actually a lot, because you can actually go, I believe it's in Strong's 3, and it's rightly connected to Father, the green. Don't harm the green of the earth. Right. So we're going to leave that. I can even go a little further. I'll just bring this up. You don't need to go there, but in 6501 it means a wild donkey, and it's spelled Peresh olive. Right? So we're talking about Ishmael.
Okay.
A wild donkey, I will make him.
Right.
And his name means Shema El. Right? Ishmael means Shema. Listen and hear, O Israel. Right? So Ishmael, in the higher frequency, higher vibration, He was made as a wild donkey. He will be a wild donkey of a man. If you want to look, it's in Genesis 16:12. But really what it's saying is directly connected to Pei Resh Aleph. This is a mouth that's speaking as a head as one. He's a wild donkey, but that's not what it's saying.
Of course, it never is.
Right? But it's the same word. Why would they do that? Why would they put it in there? And that's just a little nugget for someone to dig out. It's like very cool. But it's directly connected to the same word as 6500, to be fruitful. His name is a wild fruit. He is no longer, he is still fruit, but it's right from 6500. And then go to 6501 really quick, just to show people.
Yeah. It's got double segols under it too, though.
This is not what we think. This is one that has become something. Again, I can connect with people and going like, it's all about love.
Oh, it's the fruit of Adam.
Yes. This is the fruit.
The fruit of Adam. Wow.
So
yeah,
I wonder what
what's kind of amazing is when you look at this, the warring of the factions between Ishmael and Isaac, right? Who has the firstborn blessing?
Well, yes.
Right?
But
just in the natural, look at how many wars have been fought over this.
You just said something crucial, and I can't go by it, because this is Adam's fruit. And it's the wild donkey. What is the whole purpose of our journey of going through the experience of life? To tame the heart.
Right.
The fruit is to be wild. You're free. Define wild. You're kicking up your heels. You tasted the fruit. You no longer remember what it is that you were, but you're going to go through the journey of coughing yourself, taming the unruly. But the fruit of Adam is to be wild. You've forgotten what it was, and so now you are running wild until it is tamed. That is a wild beast. It has to be tamed through the frequency of love.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's saying. How do you do it? Shema.
Ishmael, Shema, to become.
To become.
El.
A
strong leader of love that has authority, that will teach it.
Yes. Now, so that's a big deal right there.
Oh yeah, no, it is.
That's the fruit
well,
that we tasted.
There's also like reconciliation here. Like reconciliation can be made between Isaac and Ishmael, through translations and different things. It's like, but this is not what it's saying.
No, it's not what it's saying.
It's not what it's saying in English at all.
No, it's not at all.
Because they were supposed to be a brotherhood of love.
Yes.
They were to be fruitful of Adam's lineage.
It will be joined again.
I know it will.
Yeah. So let's go now.
Because love is the unifying factor.
Yes. So now let's go up to so that's a lot right there. We could extract that out. But again, this is for you to assist other people. It's not where my bend is. I'm just rendering this down so to assist you. But we need to, let's go to, so we've talked about Ephraim, and this is tied to glory. This is a double measure in the frequency of what it's saying. This heals the head wound. The temporary bandage comes off now, and you can see what glory is by speaking now the language of love, light, and truth. You are now the head that now remembers. Now, why is the head wound about forgetting? We've taken something that caused us to forget. If Ephraim is the double fruitfulness, remember Jacob, he crossed hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why did he cross hands? And because the representation from Joseph was standing in the middle of his two sons. Joseph was standing completed as already viceroy, as a principality between the right and the left. Separating out. He was standing as no longer having, look at it from the perspective of a brain. He was standing as pineal, the pineal gland.
The face of El.
And then we had two hemispheric presentations
right
of the left and the right now.
Right.
And he was about to cross over and bless the wrong side. You can only ascend the right hand.
Exactly.
Benjamin. Ephraim, and everything's between Benjamin and Ephraim.
Right.
Ephraim has to go the way of right. This is the right rule and reign of ascension through the measure of Yeshua to go the way of the right hand. You cannot go the left. Why? Because you're going to come to the ceiling, the ceiling, the glass ceiling. You cannot go beyond that. You're not going to go into the sealing.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, and even with that left-hand path, it's forgetting.
So let's go. So let's go into 45:19. If we have Ephraim established as the blessing, because that's what got blessed, was
right.
the firstborn.
The firstborn, which always gets the double portion of the inheritance.
And we just established first fruits, right, as the portion.
Yep.
So now you're at your Manasseh.
Yep.
And when it says causing
to forget.
Right? So Manasseh was cursed with forgetting, or he, at least in the lesser narrative, he was still choosing to partner with the forgetting, and he hadn't come out of the slumber yet to hear the frequency of love.
But it's also interesting in looking that because Nun, Shin, He is very close to Nasa, to lift up, right? So lifting up from what? Man, the manna.
Right.
Which is the teachings of mother and father that puts you on the spiritual path. So it'll lift you out of your forgetting.
Yes, we're going to go into some places here. So really what happened here is Manasseh forgot to raise himself. He was probably in, again, I don't need to go into a story, but obviously he was in a place of authority, and he just became really complacent and probably just didn't want to learn because he was already established in a position of authority through his father.
Right, but we're not necessarily talking about the history lesson here. We're talking about the symbolic.
We're not doing that. What I'm saying is that he is not covered. His heart is not where it needs to be. And so
symbolically, if your heart is not covered in the way it should be, you're going to stay in the place of forgetting.
Right. So why do I say he was deceived in this? Because this is about eating the fruit, the wild fruit. He was still wild. He forgot to tame himself. So let's go to the root of Manasseh, 5382.
Nasha. To forget.
To forget. And we just before I go to, I know that Zechariah
is to remember.
Is to remember. So Zakar means to remember. To remember what? To remember Yah. To remember the way of mother. That's what it means. That's Zechariah. Remember.
Yod-He, yeah.
Remember. So everything about the headwound is that we've taken the wild fruit for the purpose of falling into love. We're wildly in love. But love is to be tamed. That's mature love. So we took the Adamic fruit. We ate of it purposely because we wanted to. And we all agreed, willingly chose to go through the experience of love, to build love as one, so we could then nurture family and express ourselves as a nation of love.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I say he was deceived and beguiled? Let's go into, so now you see love there. So this is actually in nature. So to forget is in the flesh, right? So he's either consumed in the revelation of forgetting, or he's in a place where he has...
Yeah, but... that is crazy. The first occurrence of it, very first concurrence, it's Nun, Shin, Nun.
Right.
So right? And so we've got a Dagesh in the Shin, which is two twin fires that have become one.
Right.
And so we've got the spiritual path of mother and the spiritual path of father, which then gives you the power, means, and direction.
To raise.
Mm-hmm.
So he did not...
And then what's the next word? Elohim.
Right. He did not raise into the Elohim.
And through the Aleph Tav.
He forgot that
because he forgot it.
So again, from the higher, he forgot.
He forgot.
He was Elohim.
Yeah, exactly. Which is the head wound.
The head wound is you've already come in through eating the fruit of wildness, and now you have to remember he forgot who he was, and so he stayed in the fallen flesh. The 666. He will have a bandage on him. Aphor. From Ephraim.
Oh, the bandage is the forgetting.
Yes, it's the head wound.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
we have to, so how
So
do you,
there's that covering there as it's actually a veil of protection in a way.
it's for the purpose of experience.
Exactly.
We're going through, it's again for the negative.
The covering.
We look at it as a positive to say you got the bandages there so you can experience what love is. Don't cut it
By
short.
finding it.
Every motion, every nuance, every breath, every hand,
Every experience.
rejection, drawing in and into me, it's all expressions and fractals of love.
Right.
The cup of bitter right onto death, Yeshua,
Right.
that is still an expression of love.
Right.
It's just, you need to know this. So now it's
The fullness of separation and the fullness of reunion.
severity and mercy, severity and grace. So that's love. It's encapsulated as severity and mercy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to now 5, 3, 7, 8. The exact same spelling, vowel points and all.
Yeah.
To beguile and deceive.
And that makes sense, because if you've forgotten, you don't know you are Elohim, this is how you can be deceived.
But it is. But so now, because I'm tying this to the garden.
Okay.
Don't get ahead of me too fast. So the head wound is the bitter fruit of being wild. Look at the first occurrence of this.
Yep, there's the 22:2 again.
1 Samuel 22:2, and it's about every man being in debt. Right? So it's an indebted system, so everyone indebted to the system is deceived.
Well, it's interesting because what have we all been told if you came through the Christian church? Mm-hmm. You were born into original sin.
Right.
Right? So you've already got a debt as soon as you enter into this, at least what they've put upon us. You went into original sin. So you're already looking like, I got to do something because I'm a sinner.
Right. Right. So
but
now,
that really wasn't the truth.
So we can see that the 22:2 again, this is all about
that's
love.
A big deal.
This is.
Like, we were told and sold a bill of falsehood.
Yeah, the whole system is an inversion that if you're not into what you should be doing as the intention, then you're building the inversion or the void of love.
Yeah.
It's an unsustainable narcissistic system that feeds on itself. Not only itself, it's so selfish, it feeds on the lovely.
Exactly.
It feeds on those that are journeying in the opposite direction of becoming the intention. Their eyes are focused, and it's trying to pull from them back and distract them from completing the intention.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have this, and I'm not saying that if you have debt, like, again, a higher frequency means if you're steeped in the world system, then you're deceived. That's really what I'm saying.
Sure.
Now I need to take this to the garden. Please go to 5377. Again, exact same spelling, exact same vowel points. And it means to lend on interest. But look at the first occurrence. Genesis 3:13, the serpent beguiled me and I did eat. So now I can connect the head wound to deception, to the serpent in the garden, to Manasseh and Ephraim, and talking about the bandage and changing beauty for ashes through what? Through remembering and healing the head wound. Right?
Yeah, and the woman, Ha'isha, fire.
And we're going to talk about the woman right now. So I believe that even through this process, I believe amnesia is actually, we've called it amnesia, but I believe it's called amnasha. Forgetting mother. Aleph mem, nasha.
Right.
Mother. If you don't partake of her, you will be deceived. So amnasha means you forgot mother.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we call it amnesia. We forgot. But if everything roots to source origin,
right,
then what did you forget? Amnasha. You forgot that you were Elohim. You forgot the bitter walk of mother to produce the sweet of father. Amnasha. Wake up. You have amnasha. You forgot.
That's really good, Ken. Oh my God, that's good. Wow.
You've been beguiled
Yeah.
by the system.
Yeah,
The void
absolutely.
of love has swallowed you.
Yeah.
And so now come out of her, my people.
Yeah.
What? Come out into them remembering. Zakar.
Remember.
Shoop. Turn.
Yeah.
Return back.
Right.
To love.
Yep.
Remember, Zakar.
Yep.
Zakariah, remember mother.
Right.
Anasha. You forgot.
That's good. That's really good.
One more thing with that.
If I wasn't so tired, I'd do cartwheels right now, or handstands, or backflips.
We have a word.
Inside, anyway.
If the serpent in the garden is forgetting, we just said it's beguiled, and we said it's to forget, right?
Yes.
And we have all these words about entities and spirits, and we associate them to words that become spooktified and like, whoa. But again, most of us are living in the forgetting, amnesia.
Right.
And so if remembering is love, and Manasseh is beguiled, and then we can look at a word, mnemonic, right? Mnemonic, right? Well, it's got the M, the silent M on it, but it's
right.
mnemonic, right?
Right.
And it's defined as this: a device such as a pattern of letters, ideas, and associations that assists in the remembering of something. What's the opposite of mnemonic? Demonic. Demonic, resembling characteristics of demons and evil spirits. Demonic possession. Remembering
and
forgetting. So now I can connect the garden to the spirits that fell. Remembering and forgetting is directly connected to mnemonic and demonic. Remembering, that's the head wound. And if we don't, we're now connected to...
So that's interesting. D meaning without, mnemonic. So for those... Right, so those who have... that do not have... So if you're saying it's pattern and it's tying it to the letters are what helps us to remember. Those who don't have the letters that have forgotten, they are without the devices that would keep them free and clear of demonic possession.
222.
The two paths of the
mother
20,
and father.
Yep.
122 of mother, 122
22
of father. The entities, or we call them letters, that vibrate to a resonance frequency
Yep.
that causes you to remember. You no longer. This is how you purge the demonic presence of forgetting. What is demonic? Devilish,
diabolical,
fiendish, satanic. What does the system do to produce us to live in the place of forgetting? This is the system of Satan, right?
The adversarial component.
Adversarial component.
Which the whole process of the adversarial component is to keep us in our place of forgetting. Because as soon as we remember of who we are, we find the devices necessary to become. We will remember we're Elohim.
So we can call...
Right? We will remember we're Elohim.
So we can associate a lesser and a higher perspective. The adversarial component, the Buddha, the pressure, good if I remember that it should strengthen my legs, my back, and my neck, and my head, that I will stand. The bad and the lesser narrative is that we're looking at a system that wants to control us as demons, right? That we have a system that is directly connected. I can point out and say, you're being, satanic in the negative narrative of what your book of the Bible says it is. Because that's a lesser narrative, because it needs to be deciphered correctly. So I can say your whole system is satanic in the true definition of what you are saying it as wicked and evil, because you're causing people to forget why we're here. It's love that needs to be remembered and built, bara, rendered clear, so we would reshit, become first fruits again.
Right.
The first, Genesis 1:1, reshit.
Right, reshit.
The head of love.
Yep.
Build it.
Yep.
Choose.
Yep. Absolutely. That's really good.
So, with that, there's a lot just said in that. That's like a Salem moment of just going to realizing that we've just broken down the fruit in the garden is forgetting. It's the wildness of being wild, needs to be tamed, and then running through the process of what it is. We've forgotten. That's the head wound. Now you need to remember through the 222, through the letters that produce love. That's the measure.